Hey guys, it's Farmer Jay. Welcome if you're new here. I hope you subscribe and stick around. Today's video is going to be all about our new raised beds that we just started building this spring. And it's a very special video because it is being done in collaboration with some other wonderful YouTube channels. I will have a playlist in the description box below. I encourage you to go check out all of their videos. There are so many different ways to do raised bed gardening, from the materials to build your raised beds with, to the size of your raised beds, to how you fill them. So many options. So I'm excited to check out their videos so that I can get new ideas. I like to diversify my gardening quite a bit, so I'm really looking forward to seeing all of their awesome raised beds, and I hope you guys will check them out too.
So to build these, what we did is I did go pick up just some mismatched barn siding from the local store. They were less than $10 a sheet, 8 foot by 3 foot. I did cut them down to where we're about 2 feet tall, and we ran them sideways. They're about 8 feet long, the beds are, by 2.5 feet wide and about 2 feet tall. The baseboards were just pressure treated boards. Again, just a 2x4 that's 8 feet long, just for ease. Didn't have to make any cuts there. And again, just built a basic frame. Built the sides, and then built the two ends, put it together, and then measured for how I wanted to, the length I needed to cut the metal to. Again, just really basic, nothing fancy. We did have to put in little spacers just because the way where we cut the metal, it didn't have the ridge to line up. If we would have gone to 3 feet, it would have lined up great, but that was just seemed a little tall for what we were wanting. All in all, we have, in the 3 beds that we built this way, less than $100 into them, and we do still have one spare piece, full piece of the siding that I'd bought, and we have also the portion that we cut off that we will make smaller beds out of. But yeah, so not an expensive project. Again, took a little time just kind of figuring out the first one, and then the biggest problem I had was cutting through the metal. The most difficult part of it was probably the cutting of the metal, trying to figure out how to best do it. I tried with my circular saw and it worked okay. My jigsaw was okay, but I did go through a number of blades that just broke. In the future, I think the circular saw was probably my best option. And just go with that and make sure it had a line, because I was making straight cuts. Like I said, I hadn't cut the metal before, and so got that figured out though. But that, again, that was the most difficult process, is just trying to find out which was the best way to cut it, because the little tin snips just were took too much time to do anything. So that is essentially what went into putting these together.
As you can see, these are a work in progress. We are tearing down this old shed and making our garden in here. I know that not all raised beds are typically this high, but we wanted them higher because the ground in this shed is very compacted from just years and years and years of people walking on it, putting things on it, etc. So it's very compacted, and I was concerned that our roots would not be able to get down into this dirt very well. We will be adding a flat board along here to hide this edge, and you can see here are the little, kind of like a shim almost, for lack of a better word, but basically we put these little blocks in here to offer stability because of how our metal was. You'll see some people doing their raised beds, if they do metal ones, with a corrugated metal roofing, and that has kind of the wave continually in it. That works just fine too. We just happened to have this at a local place for a good deal, so that's what we picked up. We had originally been looking at like Lowe's and Home Depot, and they really would have considerably increased the cost of our beds because of the metal. So I encourage you to look around, see if you can find a deal, see if somebody has some old metal roofing that's in really good shape that you could use. Check local places. I always think that the local supply places are more expensive, but quite often they're not, or you can find a good sale. This was just mismatched random pieces that we were able to get for a good deal. So I encourage you to check around, look at your options before you buy anything, try to see who has the best price, because sometimes you can find a really good deal. The reason that we did the treated boards on the bottom is because this is the part that's going to be touching the ground and the part that would go bad basically the fastest. So we put the treated boards down here, and then we did the less expensive boards up here. Obviously eventually the wood will Sorry about him. Obviously, eventually the wood will start to deteriorate, but a lot less quickly up here than down here. And as I said, we were trying to keep this as low cost as we could, so that's why we ended up doing it the way that we did it. One of the reasons that we decided to go with metal instead of wood is because we wanted it to last longer before it would need to be replaced. Wood is going to break down a lot faster, and yes, we could use treated wood, but there's some controversy there about whether treated wood is truly safe next to your vegetables, because some of those chemicals that they use to treat the wood could leach into your soil. The treated wood now is supposed to be safer than it was even just a few years ago, but there's still the concern there that it could cause issues. If you use an untreated wood, then you're looking at it potentially just not lasting as long, breaking down a lot faster. So we really wanted to go with metal so that it would last longer, and it turned out being more cost effective for us than if we had gone with wood. So it's a win-win. So the way that we decided to fill these is to kind of do a hugelkulture method with them because they are so deep, and we had to buy the soil to put in them. And so we knew that we wanted to be able to keep the cost as low as possible. So what we've done in the bottom section is we have done logs, and then we put some smaller branches and sticks and things on top of that. And then you need a nitrogen layer. I know some people do dry leaves and things. We ended up doing grass that we cut. So we did a layer of that, and then we did our soil. Obviously we have not finished filling them. They're not quite ready to go yet. I'm not super concerned with the wood and the grass. I know some people say to set these up, you know, in the autumn so you can plant in them in the spring so that it has time to sit there and break down and things so it doesn't hurt your plants. But since we have so much dirt on top, a much bigger dirt layer than any of the traditional hugelkulture beds that I have seen, that I'm not really concerned. I think it'll be totally fine. It was a really good way to fill up the bottom, and I think as it breaks down over time, it will add nutrients to the soil and help with drainage and things like that. So I think it was a really good idea if you're going to do a deep raised bed like this to look into the hugelkulture method. It really helps to keep the cost of your soil down if you're having to go buy your soil. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions about our raised beds, please comment below and I will do my best to get an answer for you. Again, please check out the playlist in the description box below and watch the other raised bed videos. It's always best when you're going to do a project to learn as much information as you can. I hope you guys are having a great week. Please hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video, and I will talk to y'all later. Thanks for watching. Bye.